Welcome to Wallace and Wire. Today we're talking about Puad Zarkashi's prediction that Muhyiddin Yassin's political era is coming to an end.
Yes, and it's quite a striking prediction. So specific, it's not just a general feeling, but it's explicitly timed almost, to the Sabah state election results.
Right. The timing is key here.
Exactly. It suggests that, whatever happens in Sabah, the fallout is expected to trigger a major shift within Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia.
So let's really pin down that central claim. The idea is Muhyiddin's leadership of the party essentially wraps up after Sabah.
That's the core assertion, yes. And the reasoning behind it, well, it's layered. It starts with this critique of his leadership style reaching what Puad Zarkashi calls saturation.
Saturation. What does that actually mean in political terms? Like he's run out of ideas.
It's more than just ideas, I think. Saturation implies
Yeah.
a sense that the leadership isn't offering anything new or dynamic anymore. The narrative feels predictable, maybe stale. It struggles to, energize the base or effectively manage the different factions within the party.
Okay, so it's a lack of forward momentum, a feeling that the peak has passed.
Precisely. When leadership hits that saturation point, especially in a complex coalition environment, it means they're not providing that compelling vision needed to keep everyone pulling in the same direction. Speeches, press events, they just don't seem to land with the same impact, and that's dangerous.
Because internal loyalty starts to fray. People start looking out for themselves.
Exactly. Particularly members of parliament. They need a strong narrative, a clear direction from the top, especially if they feel their own positions are vulnerable. If the leader seems stalled, self-preservation kicks in.
That makes sense. Stagnation makes any leader vulnerable. But then there's the other piece. Puad Zarkashi highlights the idea of too much baggage.
Yes, the baggage argument is crucial. It's the second major factor underpinning this prediction. And the most prominent piece, the one getting the most airtime, is certainly the legal case involving his son-in-law.
Why does something involving a family member cause so much political damage, perhaps more than a policy disagreement might?
Well, it shifts the conversation dramatically, doesn't it? Away from complex policy debates toward something much more visceral: integrity, accountability. When opponents, internal or external, can point to legal troubles close to the leader, it creates this constant background noise. It forces the leader onto the defensive, using up valuable political capital and media focus, just managing that personal crisis instead of driving the party's agenda forward.
And that connects directly to the next point, the criticism about his effectiveness in handling these issues, that he's not mounting a strong enough defense.
That seems to be the core of the criticism from figures like Puad Zarkashi. It's not just the existence of the baggage, but the perceived inability to decisively counter these narratives. In politics, perception shapes reality. If a leader looks like they're struggling to defend themselves effectively against serious allegations, well, what message does that send?
It sends a message of weakness, I suppose, to the party members, the MPs.
Exactly. It signals vulnerability. It suggests the leader might be too preoccupied defending their own position to effectively lead the party or challenge opponents. This kind of thing really erodes internal confidence, and that erosion might actually be more damaging politically than the original allegations themselves, because it emboldens those who want change.
So if he's seen as fighting for his own reputation, how can he effectively lead the party forward? This really tees up the internal situation within Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, doesn't it? The power struggle.
Absolutely. And this isn't just quiet discontent anymore. We're seeing signs of a more organized internal conflict. The dissent seems to be gathering around Deputy President Hamzah Zainuddin. And critically, there are key figures openly challenging Muhyiddin now.
Who are we talking about specifically?
Well, the names being mentioned are Tasek Jilgur MP Wan Saiful and also the Machang MP Yan Huai Shao. These aren't just backbench whispers. These are prominent MPs acting seemingly as the public face of this internal pushback.
And what's the strategy there, using visible figures like that? Is it to sort of normalize the opposition?
I think so, yes.
Well,
they act as focal points, maybe lightning rods. By having named individuals openly question the leadership, it shows others within the party that dissent is possible. It tests the leader's authority and signals to other potentially dissatisfied MPs that there's a viable alternative, or at least safety in numbers. It directly undermines that crucial image of unity.
Okay, so that's the challenge building up. Who's standing with Muhyiddin in this scenario? And how is his defense playing out?
From the outside, it appears he's relying quite heavily on the party's information chief, Tuan Faisal, to manage the messaging and counter the dissenters. But the style of defense itself is interesting. It's often described as very reactive.
Reactive how? Like just responding to attacks rather than setting the agenda.
Exactly. It seems to be more about putting out fires, responding to claims made by one Saiful or others, rather than proactively shaping the party's narrative or vision. It's the difference between leading the conversation and constantly being forced to react to a conversation dictated by internal rivals.
A purely defensive game. That often suggests a leadership under pressure, maybe feeling besieged rather than confidently in control.
It can certainly give that impression.
But the prediction hinges on something more concrete than just impressions or critiques. It comes down to a number, doesn't it?
Yes. And this is where speculation potentially hardens into a real structural threat. The claim is specific. 22 Party Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia members of parliament are said to no longer support Muhyiddin.
22 MPs. Let's pause on that. Why is that number so significant in the current Malaysian political context?
Well, 22 MPs is a substantial block within the party's parliamentary group. Depending on the exact internal rules or the wider political maths, that number could be enough to challenge his leadership directly. It could certainly be enough to deny him a clear mandate in an internal vote or even destabilize the party's position within any broader coalition dynamics.
So it's not just a handful of disgruntled voices. It's potentially a critical mass.
If that number is accurate, yes. It suggests the opposition isn't just simmering, it's organized, quantified, and potentially ready to make a move. And the Sabah election in this narrative isn't the cause of the dissent. It's positioned more as the trigger, the pre-agreed moment for this existing block of 22 to act.
The results, good or bad, just provide the political cover or the catalyst for a move that's already been planned.
That appears to be the implication. The outcome serves as the justification, the political moment, for this group to formalize their opposition. Yeah. So you have this convergence. The external baggage issues, the internal critique of saturation and lack of vision, and now this specific claim of 22 MPs ready to withdraw support. All seemingly timed to detonate right after the Sabah polls.
It really does paint a picture of intense political pressure, almost like a countdown timer linked to the election. Assuming this prediction plays out and this group of 22 MPs does make a decisive move after Sabah, what happens next? What are the ripple effects?
Well, the immediate effect inside Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia could be significant turmoil. A leadership contest, perhaps, or a vote of no confidence. It could fracture the party.
And beyond the party itself, for the national political landscape.
That's the bigger question, isn't it? If a major party leader can potentially be brought down by an internal bloc of just 22 MPs following a state election, well, it raises questions about stability. How secure are other leaders? How solid are the foundations of our current political alliances if these kinds of internal dynamics can cause such shifts? It suggests a certain fragility in the system.
A fragility that might go beyond just one party or one leader. It points to the inherent volatility, perhaps, of coalition politics as currently practiced, something for all of us to watch closely. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.